Phil, my man, what's going on? How are you doing tonight?
I am doing fine, Matt. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. We got Mr. Jeff Helms, Myrtle Beach chapter, chapter host of the 2023 North American Championship. And what do they call that? You're like, what, past president, Gup? 22 North American Championship here in Nashville.
That's right.
So,
Second one. Yeah.
welcome, everybody. We're going to have some fun tonight. It's going to be a fun night. So, I guess we'll start this way, Gup. You got to give some
boy.
advice to Jeff. So,
Okay.
current host, North American Championship, previous host, what's the best advice you can give him?
Wow. Sleep, which you won't get any of at all. And that's mainly for Matt. That's not for you, Jeff. We'll get plenty of sleep because my guy was on fumes the last couple of times that I've had to witness him run a North American championship. So you're good, man. Just watch what he does.
So
we'll
do
the opposite.
I'm good.
That's right.
So
that's right.
We'll start with this. So I've got to tell my favorite North American Championship story. And Phil, you weren't quite full time on staff yet, so I don't know how well you know this. But the first year, Guthrie was so generous to come and run a course for us at Pinehurst. He was running Pinehurst #1, and it's after day 2 of the North. See, Gut's already laughing because he knows exactly what's going to happen. Well, we get ready to repair for round 3. We're moving courses around a little bit because obviously the final round was on Pinehurst #2, and Guthrie's like, "Yeah, man, I just left all the tees out." It's like 11:30 at night at Pinehurst. And we're like, well, we need those tees for the morning at like 6 a.m. to set up the next golf course. That's like, are you kidding me? So we get done doing everything we needed to do repairing because frankly, we weren't very experienced. Chris Isom that's texting me in the chat, I will kill you. There's nothing coming out. But we get done. We weren't very experienced, getting everything ready for the morning, trying to get card signs printed and scorecards and get everything. The first time we had done it, had really no idea what we were doing the first year. Like, I feel much more comfortable now, thank God. And Jody takes off down Pinehurst #1 at 2:30 in the morning to walk the golf course and pick up tees and comes back into the room at like 3:45. And what we didn't realize that, the salespeople at Pinehurst is there's actually cameras on all of their golf courses. So our sales guy at Pinehurst is watching us do this at like 3:45 in the morning, which is great. So great little inside scoop first year at Pinehurst. This year Myrtle Beach. So hopefully the moral of the story is pick up your tee markers at the end of the round.
That's what you charge other people to do, right? That's why I made the big bucks.
Exactly. We still love you, Gup. He's still on the team. He survived that one. But it was a great time. It was a great conversation with them the next morning. They're like, so we can walk around the golf course, Pinehurst #1 at 3:00 in the morning. We're like, yeah, maybe.
Possible.
They just started laughing. It was a great time. So, I love Rick Lee said he played TPC in Myrtle Beach today. It's in great shape. If you're down in Myrtle Beach right now, you know that it's World Am Week in Myrtle Beach, so the golf courses are getting in great shape. It's going to be a huge tournament down there. Great time to be down. 2 weeks away, Jeff, you've got a big event in Myrtle Beach. There's still 9 spots available. So I think we should set a goal. I'd like to see that thing sold out by the end of the live.
That would be awesome.
So why don't you talk about, you got Labor Day. I'm going to be in Chambers Bay, or I'd be there.
Yep. But Phil will be down there with us. But no, we got a big 2-day event over Labor Day weekend. Labor Day, September 2nd and 3rd. It's going to be an awesome time. World Tour the first day, Grand Dunes the second day. So I mean, it's going to be an amazing tournament. Like I said, we have 72 spots. I mean, we've got 9 spots still open. So guys, jump on there and sign up. It's going to go quick.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, World Tour obviously is in the course rotation for the North American Championship. Great golf course. Actually used to live pretty much in the backyard of in World Tour, so know it well. Great golf course, fantastic. You'll have a fantastic time, and I will tell you, if you've not played Grand Dunes since they've redone it, it is phenomenal. I know I was down with you in the middle of July. We had a pop-up sellout event there at Grand Dunes, and great golf course, great shape, a lot of fun, right on the waterway. It's a absolute great time.
Yep. Oh, it is. It is an awesome time. It's an awesome golf course. I mean, you can't – those two courses right there, I mean, Grand Dunes is definitely top 5, World Tour's top 5. And, I mean, there's so many great golf courses down there. It's kind of hard to pick a top 5 because they're all so different. But they're all in amazing shape right at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely want to let you know if you're thinking about looking for something to do Labor Day weekend. We are sold out at Chambers Bay, but there's never a better place to go than the beach. I can give you the spots to go at the beach. We'll probably talk about some of that tonight, Jeff. We haven't talked about that in a little bit. We've got some great spots to hang out at the beach. I know you and I and Chuck, we've got our couple spots. Some are more adventurous than others. We'll get back to that, so definitely stay tuned. We'll give you the fun meter and the crazy meter and where you want to go. But there's some great spots in Myrtle Beach for sure. But Phil, I feel like we've been on a run at the national major level. We've got to recap some national majors tonight before we go too much farther. Man, what a run we've been on. You start Memorial Day. Let's just start from Memorial Day. You got Stream Song, which was unbelievable. Unbelievably good. I'd never been there. It was really interesting because, last year we ran Ambrier and Stream Song on the same weekend, and so I got stuck. I didn't get stuck at Ambrier because I love Ambrier. Like, shout out to Kevin and his staff; they're my favorite people. Birthplace of the APT. But Chris went to Stream Song with Jody, and I ran the Ambrier event. We split up, and Chris comes back and he's like, "Dude, you will not believe how good that place is." And I'm like, "Whatever, man. You don't play golf. Like, it can't be like." One of the best places we play. There's no way. And then, Chris, I got to say at Isom, I'm sorry. You were right. Stream Song is really freaking incredible. So you go from there to Ambrier, which, we had 160 players in Ambrier this year. Great event there. Great golf course. One of the top, I think, public access facilities in the Midwest. It's just a fun spot to go play golf for the weekend. Big Cedar was phenomenal this year with the addition of Ozark National. What a great Coeur Crenshaw in the mountains. Obviously Tiger's Course, Paynes Valley. And then another really pleasant surprise. I was kind of like, when we booked it, everybody's like, you should go to Sequoia National. You should go to Sequoia National. I'm like, okay, we'll book Sequoia National. It's in the mountains. It won't be super hot in July. And I'm like, but man, that place was good. I could not believe how much fun we had at that golf course. And what an incredible place. If you didn't make it in, you missed out. Sold out field 148. And then last weekend, another new one for me, first time visiting. And I've got to tell you, I'll be honest, I teared up walking through the Memorial on Sunday morning a little bit. American Dunes, what a cool spot. Phil, since you did better than I did at that golf course, Jack Nicklaus is mean. That's all I have to say. He's not nice. But Phil, you conquered American Dunes in the senior flight, so why don't you talk about American Dunes?
Well, like I say, it was a phenomenal trip up there. For me, it started a little bit. Actually, the week before that, I actually flew in right after my event. I actually crossed the border and visited our Toronto chapter, and played a great golf course up in North Toronto. But then made my way over to Western Michigan, to Grand Haven, and I told you I was surprised when just getting there and how there was no signage, to the course. I was actually shocked by that. But once you put your car into the driveway there, it was a phenomenal experience. Walking through the Memorial, having the music playing, making your way through there, going to the Cava Bar, the memorabilia that's in there, the course itself, the huge American flag on the ninth fairway, that's there. At 1,300 hours, they play taps every day. Everybody stops, for taps, and then the 13 bells. Like I say, and then the course was phenomenal. We for me, I actually got a little lucky because it played a little short. So it allowed some of the shorter players to have a better shot. And those of us that had a little better of a short game, whatever, around those greens, if you could figure out the greens, you could score. But I mean, our scores were not low by any means, because those greens and those complexes were very, very tough.
What a hard freaking golf course.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, here's what I was expecting. And I'll be honest. And hopefully Lieutenant Colonel Rooney's not watching, but when you hear about a project like that across the country, you're like, okay, this is a great story. It's a cool monument. There's a bunch of stuff outside the golf course. I was expecting obviously an okay designed golf course in immaculate condition. That's kind of what I was expecting, right? And with all the history around it, I didn't have huge expectations for the golf course itself, because they bought a golf course that was going under. They renovated it. It's hard to make those really, really special. And it was really fun to actually talk to Ian the pro, to hear about what they actually did. They were going back to pictures of the land from the 20s and 30s before the original golf course was there. And they really restored a lot of that land to bring in the dunes. And it was an exceptional golf course with an even better story. I believe 5 to 10 years from now, American Dunes is going to be one of the absolute top rated destinations. It's just such a cool spot in Michigan. Highly recommend going. Very thankful we're partners with Folds of Honor, and very thankful they want us back. So stay tuned. But maybe we'll even get Gup to go up there.
Maybe. Gotta convince the wife, Maybe you can help me out with that there, Matt.
Rachel loves me. I just want to say, I'm the favorite. I'm just.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Isom just said that she is the golfer in the family.
Hey, so. I finally got my first W on Monday at Grassland, so that is no longer the case. I have reclaimed my spot. Not really. She's awesome. She's a really good golfer,
right?
For sure.
I would have definitely been there at Kings North. So
I hear you. Well, Cybert wants to know how many bunkers I was in. I'm trying to think. Day one, I was in the back bunker on 9.
How about this? Too many.
I think I was only in 2 or 3, to be honest with you. I didn't really hit it in bunkers very often. I avoided the bunkers. It was the tight turf. It was the tight turf conditions and trying to hold the ball on the greens out of the rough, because I couldn't hit a fairway to save my life. It was ugly. But such a great golf course, really good time. I really think everybody that experienced it enjoyed. It was more than a golf experience. It's definitely something worth going to. The memorials, hanging out their staff, finding some of the inside stuff on it. It was really, really cool. I can't wait to have round 2 and host a tournament there again. Now that we kind of know the lay of the land, it's going to be really special when we do it. But as much as I love American Dunes, the season goes on. We've got Chambers Bay in the North American Championship. We've got a ton to cover tonight. But first, we got a message from our friends at Blue Tees.
What up, guys? My name's George Gankis. I'm a PGA Tour coach out of Westlake, California. I teach all sorts of players. I got PGA Tour players such as Matthew Wolff, Sung Kang, many others. There's nothing more I trust than Blue Tees when I'm trying to hit that yardage. It all starts with knowing your distance.
Love my Blue Tees.
Absolutely.
So Blue Tees hole-in-one club. So we paid out 3 this week.
That's impressive.
Even in a rain out, we paid 1 out. We only played 3 holes. The third hole is a par 3, and he hit a hole-in-one, and then it got rained out. So he was very happy. So He's like, well, it wasn't an official round. I was like, I don't really care. Did he hit a hole in one during the tournament? And he goes, yeah. I said, cool. So
was it 500 or a 2500?
It was a 500.
Okay. Well,
so
it was a good day.
It was a good day. He got a refund for the tournament. It gets rescheduled, and so he did pretty well. It worked out. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. Vinny, you boys ever been out to Chambers Bay?
Not yet.
Nope.
Nobody on here has been out to Chambers Bay.
That's bucket list for me, my friends.
Dude, Gup.
I know.
I'm just saying, like, here's the thing. So, Jody, we'll get back to when Jody was on these all the time. We'd always pull the Golf Week Raider card, right? And, Chambers Bays went up from like 52 to like 37. And I'm pretty sure that it's jumped some spots based on like my rating and Jody's rating. And because I rated it really high. I think it's a top 10 golf course in America, hands down. Like, no questions. Like, name me 5 golf courses in the U.S. better than Chambers Bay, and I'll wait. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard. That place is really special. Great deal to get out there. Tournament entry was cheaper than if you don't live in, I don't know what Seattle County is called, but if you don't live in the Seattle-Tacoma area, then you can even play it for 2 days. Great golf course. Obviously hosted US Open in 2015, US Amateur in 2010, hosted the Women's Amateur last year, I believe, 4-ball before that. They've just redone their greens with Poa, which if you're from the Midwest like me, you hear the term Poana and you freak out because Poana is what grows into your greens and make them bumpy. However, when your entire greens are Poana, they're some of the best putting surfaces you can ever putt on. They're so pure. So it's going to be a good time. Cannot wait. Rachel's been watching. So
I know. I got to be on my P's and Q's, man.
Rachel, I did tell Chris that I'm your favorite. So Carol says she's been. Carol from Turtleson's been to Chambers. So really love Chambers. Chambers is a spiritual experience on its own, right? You pull up, it's a park, and you pull up top and you can literally look out from the pro shop. They shuttle you down to where the first tee and the driving range and everything is. And you look out over and you see the entire golf course below you, and then Puget Sound in the distance, and you see the railroad track that they run trains by all day. That obviously the iconic 16th hole. Really cool place. Looking forward to being there. Really disappointed that none of you bums have been to Chambers Bay yet, so we can yak it up about it. But one of the coolest design golf courses anywhere in the country. They've got 3 or 4 holes. You can change from drivable par 4 to par 5. And so they always change their routing and everything around. It's a really fun place to play. A really hard walk, I'll say that. So it'll be 2 days of good exercise. So I'll be in shape for the North American Championship. So let's go. But Chambers Bay in 2 weeks is going to be a good time. Man, Rachel just said bye to you, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
She's heard enough.
Yep, she's heard enough.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good time. I love golf courses where the proper play is to aim 30 yards to the right of the green and hit to a kicker slope and let it roll. It's the most insane thing you've ever seen. Like, you could never play golf at Chambers Bay like you play in Myrtle Beach, because Myrtle Beach, they keep it too soft. Like, you hit it on a kicker slope, it just sits there and it makes you mad. In Chambers, it rolls like 100 yards. Yeah. It's the most insane. You can putt from like 100 yards off the green there pretty easily on some holes. So it'll be fun. Looking forward to hosting everybody out there. We'll be there this time next week. It's kind of scary. So,
yeah.
Wow.
Last major of 2023. But, Phil, exciting things to talk about tonight. Don't know if I want to give the number up, but we've hit a pretty big milestone for 3 years of existence on the national level. So blowing through some things. We got some pretty exciting stuff planned for 2024.
Yeah, just looking back, Matt, at the phenomenal growth that we've had over the first 3 years, I'm just kind of curious, looking back at it, what was the goal that you and Jody set out, when you started this thing for the first year, and then, what you were hoping, because I know we've blown through that, but I'm just kind of curious what the initial goal was set at.
I'm almost embarrassed to tell you, because I do remember. So when we can tell this part of the story now, are we far enough past Guthrie that I can reveal the first APT meeting? Like, are you okay with this? We need to
I'm totally fine with it. Yes.
Okay. So when I started the APT, Jody always like, there's going to be a point at some point we're going to have an opportunity to go national, and I'm going to call you, and I want you to be in. And Chris is telling, I can say the goal when I hired him as an intern. I didn't even think national was ever a thing when I hired Chris as an intern, and Chris was like, no, you're going to take this nationally. That was back in 2018. And anyways, so I'm running through, I'm through 2 seasons, getting ready to start the 3rd season, and COVID happens and it shuts everything down. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I get a call from my friend Jody Barrett, because we'd been keeping in touch, and he goes, hey man, Golf Channel just suspended their season. Now's the time to go. Do you still want to create a golf tour? And I'm like, and this is literally what I'm thinking, because I run a digital marketing company, and all we do is like help local businesses. So like 90% of my clients are like restaurants and other local businesses that got completely shut down during COVID. So I'm like sitting here twiddling my thumbs, like, what else am I going to do for the next, we thought it was 15 days to slow the spread. So that was a lot. So thankfully we had a little bit longer to plan than that, but this was at the start of the 15 days. He literally called me. I was on a golf trip with our APT guys. We had went down to Ross Bridge and Oxmoor Valley, and then drove the last day. We went and played Sweden's Cove.
Sweden's Cove.
Mm-hmm. So I literally bought groceries for the next month in Chattanooga to drive it home from our golf trip, because they were shutting everything down.
Wow.
The next day. So I get home from St. Louis, and Jody calls me, and he's like, hey man, you want to start this golf tour? And I'm like, okay. And so we start planning this, right? And, so stuff starts to reopen. I get a tournament back open. I think it was like early May. And Jody's like, well, let's have this meeting. And I was like, well, where do you want to meet? He goes, well, things are going to reopen. He goes, I'm coming to play in Chris Guthrie's Golf Week event at Tunica National. So you should meet me. And I was like, well, I'd love to play. And Guthrie's like, Matt, you can't play.
No.
He was not going to let me play. And so, but anyways, we found rooms at the Peabody Hotel in
Memphis
for $80 a night. One of the coolest, most iconic hotels in the country. So it's COVID. So Chris and I get in the truck and we drive to Memphis to stay at the Peabody Hotel. Chris spends all day like hanging out with the ducks. Duck Palace was closed at the roof. So the ducks were just swimming around in the lobby. Jody and I are working on the business plan, and Chris is just hanging out with the ducks, which at the time, it's not that funny now, but at the time, that was the most entertaining thing we had seen in 2.5 months. There were no sports, there was no nothing. There was just these ducks that were swimming around, and they would come swim around every day, and it was mesmerizing to watch the duck master lead these ducks into this little
That's
pool,
awesome.
and swim around, and then march them all out, and they would follow. And that was how the APT was born. So
didn't y'all have run of the entire place pretty much? I mean,
oh my God, there was nobody there. We had what's the barbecue place in Memphis? The Back Alley Barbecue.
Oh, Rendezvous or
Rendezvous. Yeah, that's right.
We'd literally go to the alley. They'd meet us at the top of the stairs. They wouldn't let us go down. They'd meet us at the top of the stairs. It looked like a drug deal in an alley in downtown Memphis.
Hey,
and our barbecue.
It's kind of a back alley.
They don't mess around.
Hotel and get back to work. And so
that's right.
So keeping that perspective, right, as we're writing our business plan, because that's where it happened, Phil. It's at the Peabody Hotel. Way too funny. So we thought in the first year we could get 6 to 8 chapters and have 800 members. So that was year one. So I think it was 800, 1,200, 2,000. I don't even know after that. I think the 5,000 mark was like year 7.
Wow.
Maybe year 8. And we had it all mapped out. So if any of our current directors want to know where they were on our recruiting list, it still exists. So, yeah, it was a good time. And then, we spent, Ryan's talking about someone who works for an airline. COVID was crazy. I absolutely loved flying during the height of COVID because you get on a plane and you'd have to be like, hello. And like 18 rows down would be the next passenger. It was the greatest thing ever. Now there was never, you never had to worry. Like, I don't need an exit row. I don't need first class. Just give me a seat on the plane because there's nobody else on the plane anyway.
Nobody was anywhere around you.
When we were traveling, it was the greatest thing ever. And they were like, and flights were super cheap too. Like, I'm looking around. I'm like, I paid $120 to get on this flight to California. And there's 4 other people. It was insane. It was awesome, though. Everybody was super cool. We can talk more about that later. But anyways, to let you know, I think our year 3 goal was 2,400 members or 2,000 members, something like that. It wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I thought it was good then.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, if you would have had 2,000 members this year, you would have been really disappointed.
Oh, I'd have been mad. I would have played Guthrie.
Yeah. Well, like I say, needless to say, did you tell everybody where we're at in terms of membership numbers this year?
Let's just say, all I have to say is the first number is a 5, and then it goes up. I don't like telling people our total membership numbers because our competitors are like, I don't know if they're doing really well or not. I kind of like making them wonder. It's kind of fun that way. You know what I mean? It's like, we're coming for you, but you don't know it.
No, it's been quite the ride the first 3 years, that's for sure.
Yes, it
again,
has.
Looking back at it, building the name up around the country, that's been the big thing, getting the reputation out there, working with some great people on our side. Again, people that I've had the opportunity to work with in the past, like Chris and Jeff in the past, whatever. That's just, again, it's like family for most of this stuff here that we do here. Again, we get to meet a lot of chapter owners from around the country, and then better than that, we get to meet a lot of members from around the country. Going to these national majors, it's a small group of players that go to a lot of them every time. So it's almost like a little mini reunion each time we meet and get to meet up with these guys. That's the biggest thing for me when I go to these things. So, yep, Joe, love working with you too, man. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I say, we have a lot of volunteers, players and stuff like that again provide suggestion, provide help. Players that are part of our handicap committee. So I mean, that's it's not a one-man show around here. It takes a lot of people to put this thing together. And the feedback that we get from all the players, again, some of it's great, some of it, we'll think about it, but, again, but again, we all take it down and, we use it, to improve each year. And we've made changes every single year. Some things have been good. Some things we'll tweak again, and I don't know if you're going to talk about some of that stuff later on tonight, Matt, but, stay tuned, folks, because there's a little changes coming.
I'm not quite there yet. I think the thing that's special about it, it's kind of, since we're looking back, and I think it's important sometimes to look back because, one of my strengths, but also I think definitely all your strengths are also your weaknesses, right? I like to put my head down and keep pressing forward and I see a goal and put the head down and keep ramming through. And 3 years later, you're like, holy crap, where are we at? Sometimes I feel like I have to pinch myself. But looking back, I remember the first conversation on the phone with you, when we were just kind of feeling each other out. We're like 2 dogs getting to meet each other the first time, just kind of sniffing around, like, because we didn't know each other that well. We worked for the same organization. We both had big chapters, but we never talked. You know what I mean? So I didn't know what you were about. You didn't know what I was about. And we had to get to know each other, right? And it just, from there to now, I remember sitting across from Guthrie. We took Guthrie to dinner. Guthrie is like the girl that plays hard to get. I mean, that dude.
Oh my gosh.
He legitimately had me scared. Like, we were like 5 months out from launching, and we're like, Guthrie's coming. We know Guthrie's coming. And like literally 2 weeks before the announcement, I went to Jody and I was like, you might have to run Nashville, bro. Like, I'm going to have to give you a crash course on how to run a golf tour.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh. And we sat down to dinner, had a good time. But
yes,
the funny thing is, and the great thing that it's been, and I say all that to say this, you know, we sat down around everybody and we talked about culture and we talked about values and we talked about being a family, you know, and it's kind of fun to see people over here. Guthrie, you were the first person that, you know, I knew, you know, we stayed in touch even after, you know, I started APT. We've been friends for a long time. Jeff, you're brand new in this. And so you're 3 months into this journey. So I don't know what to tell you, buddy. It's going to be an interesting one for you. But, you know, we sit all these guys down and we're talking about it. And we're talking about culture. We're talking about values. We're talking about service. And most of all, we're talking about being a family. And it's been so cool to see that culture meld. You know, I was telling Phil this morning, you know, for everybody watching, we had a huge chapter owner call last night, and we're talking about 2024 rules. And my comment to Phil this morning, I'm curious what your thoughts were, Gup. From the first year we did that, and everybody that like we hadn't quite gelled yet, as we're talking, what are the rules going to be? You know, everybody's got all these different ideas, and we're kind of arguing back and forth.
Right.
I was really impressed last night how the conversation was so positive, and everybody's working together to make a better experience for our members. And to me, the most important thing that's happened over these 3 years is that gelling, and then what it does when you take that out to the experience that the members see on tournament days, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it went from holding your position and being, you know, fighting for every inch because you wanted to, you know, do the best that you could for your members and what you thought was right. But, you know, to now, everybody's rowing in the same direction, in my opinion. So, you know, and everybody still has their own opinion of how things go, but there was no, I didn't hear any animosity in anybody's voice. Everybody had a chance to voice their own opinion, and, you know, their agreements and their disagreements. So that's really cool to see, you know, you know, and, you know, you're able to, you know, share with other chapters, you know, what you do, and you're also able to glean stuff off of what other people are doing. So it's a great learning experience. It's a great sharing experience, and hopefully that, you know, we can still all come together in one kumbaya to, you know, have a great tour. You know, I'll speak for Nashville. We got some awesome members. You know, our numbers keep going up every year, and people are invested in this, and they want to make this tour the best that it can be, and they are not afraid to voice their opinion, and I have no problem with that, you know, and I am very happy to be an advocate for them, and, you know, voice, you know, their opinion to the rest of the chapters, you know, and if that's something that we can all come to an agreement on, then, you know, maybe we'll make change, just like what Phil's talking about. You know, there are changes coming. I think that's probably a little teaser for later on, but, you know, I think we're working to make this the best product possible for everyone.
No, absolutely. You know, and I got to be honest, I'm kind of changing where we're going tonight a little bit, at least the order of it, because you put such a good segue in, Chris. I'm so proud of you.
I try.
You know, we've taken some player feedback, right? And trust me, we hear it at the national office. You know, if you send something to support at aptgolf.org, you might not think it gets to me, but it gets to me. I hear about it. Somebody answers the email maybe, but I hear about it. We talk about them all the time. But we've got some exciting rules changes coming. I know we talked last year. We'd had a lot of feedback after the end of the season last year talking about points and specifically the moving of points when people get promoted. And we were working through a system. And thought we were going to make a change for 2023, and then we just never were comfortable that the numbers were accurate. And thankfully, as we ran test data this year in the background, it was a very good decision because it would have been very screwed up. But that being said, we never lost that understanding, right? Nobody wants to go through the season and get promoted. Getting promoted is great. It means you're playing better. It means that you've achieved a new level. But nobody wants to lose, 70% of your points and not know what, and just with an arbitrary number and all that. So we're excited to announce. You'll hear more about this in a couple of weeks, but you're hearing it here first before I've even written up the changes in the member manual that we're rewriting, by the way. So Brian Greger, expect a new member manual soon. Start to finish a rewrite. We're working on that for 2024. But the point system is going to be a new system where you're going to keep 100% of your points when you move up and when you move down. And so you ask, how are we going to accomplish that? Because at first glance, that sounds a little crazy. I'll be the first person to say that. But we've come up with an algorithm using a term that Phil's not allowing me to say because it'll confuse the living daylights out of you like it did me. But we have
Can I say it? Can I say it? Can I say it?
Don't say it.
Go for it, Chris. You can say the term.
Harmonic mean.
Harmonic mean. Somebody Google that crap for us, please.
And it's not codes or anything.
And you'll still not understand.
Exactly what it means.
I'm going to give you the layman's terms of how it works because we're really excited about this. We've ran a ton of test data through this, and it seems to be working absolutely swell. Let's just say it's just swell. I'm so excited about it. Every time I run a test data, I'm like, this is going to break it, and it doesn't. I'm like, this is awesome. So essentially what we're doing is we're weighting points based on the division that you're competing in as a strength of field metric, and then we're also calculating where we know based on the data that we've analyzed the harder transition and breaks are. For example, 4-3 is the most difficult transition on our tour. Cybert, it's not a harmonica, buddy. And then the easiest transition is actually from 3 to 2, so it's a little bit tighter. So we've modified the harmonic mean a little bit, but the positive to the story is you get to keep your points when you get promoted, and those points will be essentially be simulating using our algorithm what you would have got had you been in that division all along. And so it's weighting things, it's putting people in the right place, and giving you a chance to move up and move down and still be competitive in the right spot. So if you get promoted, you're not going to get moved to first in your division anymore. It's not going to happen. So by the math, but it's gonna be a great system. We're really excited about it. Without having like a graph to show you, it's going to be a little hard to keep going. But we've also got a couple other exciting rules changes listening. We've done some things to the flight lock. We're excited to talk about that soon. We've been listening to some feedback there for some of the people that are getting promoted late, losing the chance to go after Player of the Year. The handicap committee has been working extraordinarily long hours, looking at data for how we're going to initially flight new players to ensure that our fields are fair. And we've got a lot of really cool changes coming, and Phil, they're all based on player feedback. So I'll let you talk about some of those things, and we can certainly take some questions.
Did we want to take a little break? I know Chris had something queued up there.
Oh yeah, we got a commercial. If Carol's watching, this one's for you. So the thing I love about that Turtleson commercial, and I really hope Carol's still watching, is I love that Andy Plate is in his own commercial. Like, that makes me happy. So Andy, I'm looking forward to seeing you next month at the beach. I love that the president of Turtleson wants to come hang out with us at our North American Championship. We've got some awesome Turtleson swag coming this year for participants in the North American Championship. And I will tell you, I didn't pick it, so they are all very stylish.
Oh, jeez.
So
so Matt, where do you want me to go?
My nerdy guy from St. Louis, no offense, Jesse, I love you. It's like, don't worry, I'll call you later to talk about this. What do you mean adjusted for T-Box? Don't worry, I'll explain it. We can go through the test data. There's a bunch of it.
Don't call me.
I was so tired of talking about points. We have spent all week talking about points.
Yes, all week. Well, again, Matt, you teased a little bit. We got some other changes that we're working through. One of the ways that we're calculating differentials, we're going to be looking at a lot of that going forward, using a slope rating. Again, our APT index, again, is our proprietary index, whatever we use it for flighting of our players within our tournaments. It's very similar to a USGA index, but it's not. Okay. So, we have the ability to tweak some things on our side to make sure that we are, creating differentials from player rounds based on, divisional play. So we're going to be making some tweaks in that area. That'll be all, communicated to the players, going forward. But it'll help out, with the classification of people and keep it a lot, keep the scores and differentials a lot closer together, for the players in the division, no matter what T they're playing. So we have that coming up. That's a good one. Like you say, you've already talked about some points.
Points is the big one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll talk about the what you called the battlefield until we have that finalized. But it's not a battlefield. It's kind of a point lock.
I've got one.
Okay, go ahead.
When you're validated, because there's been all questions about exceptional scores.
Yep.
When your index is validated, you're safe throughout the entire tournament. So once your index is validated, you never have to worry about getting DQ'd ever.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean we're not going to promote you right after the tournament and tell you congratulations. But when you're validated, we've got enough data on you.
Yeah, we're pretty confident that the scores. Yeah,
again, play your best,
you're in the right place.
Congratulations. So
yeah, that's big.
I think that's a big one. There's a lot of confusion. That was always kind of, I think, the intention. Just we're going through in year 3 and just clarifying and making a lot of things in the member manual easier to read, easier to understand. Honestly, we're new. This is our second iteration in a member manual. So I'm going through this and I'm like, why did I write that? Like, that sounds dumb. And so we're just going through like, yeah, we'll just rewrite that. And so we're working through that, which is exciting. Jeff, you're new. I'm curious, what makes you most excited about 2024?
Well, I mean, it just seems like a lot of the things going on with what we talked about the rules changes, it's going to make everything fair to the competitors. Whereas when, and it should be a promotion. It should make a competitor feel great to be able to be promoted to the next division. And before, I think people, they were a little concerned because of the point situation. They weren't going to have a chance. But all the stuff that we went over last night, it's going to be very fair. And I think people will look forward to be promoted instead of take it as like, oh yeah, well, I just lost out on everything. So I think that's one of the great things for 2024.
Fair. Gup?
As far as 2024 goes, probably being the Founders Cup champion after October. That's what I'm looking forward to. So we can start 24 with holding that trophy and carrying it through the rest of the year. How about that, Matt?
I will tell you this right now. Me and Eckelkamp will be waiting for you on the first tee. Bring your best group.
We can't wait. We can't.
Point number one is going to St. Louis. We may win the cup, but you ain't getting point number one. So I said it here. I'm texting Eckelkamp, and I'm like, you need to watch the call from last night because I need you to get motivated. You sit on a bed of lies. Throne of lies, Chris Guthrie. But that's okay. It's all good. We're excited. St. Louis, Nashville. For those that know, Founders Cup is really a reiteration of the Ryder Cup that really honestly spawned the friendships that created the APT.
That's right.
So that's how I met Jody. That's how we became friends. That's how Gup and I became friends. I don't know about Joe, but we'll leave that for another time.
Give Joe his props now.
I'm
Come
just
on.
kidding. You know I love Pinky. I love
Pinky, man.
Pinky. We've become really good friends through this, and
he's my guy.
But anyways, it's a fun. The Ryder Cups. If you've not played in one of these Ryder Cups, the Founders Cup rivalry between St. Louis and Nashville has been festering for a while, and it's been festering in a really good way. I think we've created a lot of great friendships through the years, and it's fun to be back doing it. Our guys and gals love it, and I will tell you, I'll have more women qualify for my team. You have to tell Rachel. I'll have more women qualify for my team this year than ever before.
Don't bring that up. You know where that's going to go. You might have to make a special exemption for her.
That's fine. Tell her to come on. We're ready.
Here we go. Throwing down a gauntlet. Hey, I will say this: I think there are a lot of folks in Nashville that have not played that kind of event before, and they're like, "Hey, what is this?" So they're familiar with Ryder Cup. Anybody that's a golfer is familiar with Ryder Cup. So, be able to actually do something like the pros do similarly, and still have a really good time and talk a bunch of smack and not get any fights. But, anyway, forget that. But, it's all about competition and having a good time and taking home the hardware. Hey, come on. Everybody wants to take the picture, just like one of our co-founders, Jody Barrett. I remember when we finally beat those guys, and we're driving back from.
I didn't look at Facebook for a week, Gup. I was so bad.
Have you ever seen the pictures that are in the car with the trophy with the seatbelt on it? That's the epic shot. That's the money shot.
Hold on.
There we go. See, that's. And I'll admit, we got dusted the last time we played.
Just so you know, I'm upgrading this trophy when it comes, since we've got this new partnership with Sterling Cut Glass. The Founders Cup trophy is going to be legit. And then we're going to win it again, so it's going to be sitting up there next year too.
All right. So enough of that.
Anyways, but moving back to some stuff. We still got more codes. I saw a good question coming in the chat I wanted to answer. Actually, Phil, I'll let you answer. I'm trying to go back and look here. Daniel Ken wants to know, I'll just put it on the screen for you. What data is used to validate your index? How do you know that you are validated?
Well, glad you asked. We are using seven scores that you shoot on tour. Each of those scores, again, you get a differential of those scores based on the tees, slope, and rating that you played. So we calculate a differential, and then with 7 scores, we're using 4 of those 7 scores, the average of those, to give you the index. So once you have the 7 scores in our system, we consider the player to be validated. Anytime before that, the player is not validated, and we have the ability to, again, take action, move a player up, down, whatever, before they're validated.
Right. And so the whole point of it too is I just want to say this, and so many of our guys understand and do this, and I love that. You're supposed to play in the division that your potential has you in, which is great. We have a bunch of guys. The goal is to get better. Everything we're trying to do from a policy standpoint, we want to promote the journey of getting better. Like, I see Felix on here commenting, he went through it like a champ last year. He was an average Division 5 player at the start of the year, and he got his index all the way to Division II by the end of the year, working really hard on his game and starting to see the results. You know, we've got a gentleman in St. Louis that's done the same thing this year. It's just great to see, and it's been really fun. Those are the stories that we want to see on the APT and to celebrate successes.
Yeah, and I'll just make a quick follow-up. I see Russell McDonald had a comment in here. How is it done different from GIN? The USGA uses your best 8 differentials out of your last 20. So it's more of it's not an average. It's trying to look at your potential. So it disregards, 12 of your last 20 scores. So it should represent again, more of your potential than your average. I guess that's the biggest thing for our players if they're new to competitive golf, they're not sure what indexes are and stuff like that. What we're trying to do is we're trying to represent, what your potential is, not what your average is. Okay. This isn't bowling. Okay. Bowling is strictly an average sport. So we're always trying to look at what a person's potential is. So if you can shoot 75, 76, but yet your average is 82, well, you have the ability to shoot 75, 76, even if you do it, one every 10 times, that's what it's supposed to be. So if you're shooting 75 or 76 every third round, your potential's, 72, 73 kind of deal. So again, we want to make sure there's fair competition for all.
That is why you're the data guy. But I love you. I want you to know. No, I think the other thing, Russell, to show is, I think the biggest thing in our index is different than GIN is it's only based on your competition rounds within the APT. I think that's a huge point for people to understand. It's not you going out and playing with your buddies. Some people put out 6-inch putts and post it to GIN. Some people give themselves 6-footers and post it to GIN. So we certainly use GIN as a starting point, but as you get in and play tournament golf and you play from similar yardages and do that within the division, we're establishing your tournament index that way. So I do appreciate Rich's comment and the chat.
Yeah.
So I just want to say no bowlers were harmed in Phil's explanation. So,
hey.
Anyway, so what else we got to cover tonight? North American Championship. So we've got the par 3 contest on Wednesday night, which is filling up. There's only like 30 spots left, which is pretty exciting.
Wow.
The 3-club par 3 challenge at the Aero Club, $45, 7:00, shotgun start, 18 holes under lights, longest hole's like 100 yards. 3 clubs. We'll have skins, a little prize pool action. It's going to be a good time. Thursday, starting at 10 o'clock, we've got we'll call it the pre-event at Wild Wing. We'll have that open. We'll have information on that. So the entry fee gets you in for the golf and the organization. And then you have 3 optional contests you can get in. The first is the skins game. The second is we're going to do a Folds of Honor net, raise some money for Folds of Honor, have a net competition. And the third thing requested from our seniors that are in need of senior net points, we're going to run a senior net event, 1-day event for points. So if you want to get a few more senior net points before the North American Championship starts, you can do it on Thursday. Tee time start at 10. Registration starts at Wild Wing, I believe 5 p.m. I've got a meeting with her tomorrow to firm all that up, but we'll have Folds of Honor is going to be there. Turtleson's going to be there. The most important man in golf below the waist will be there, Mr. Jack Curry from 2 Under. And we'll be there. We've got a ton of tee gifts to hand out. I'm really excited about it. Stuff's starting to come in. I'm starting to get a look at it. And I'm like, I'm telling you, this is the best year we've ever had for swag by far. I'm pretty excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just so you know, Chris says, I can't believe it's not full. There's 28 spots left. There's 7 people that have applied that haven't met the eligibility requirements yet. Most of them will. So there's really like 23 spots left. We originally sold out at 500, but added 80 spots, thankfully. Jesse's asking questions. I'll put this up here. He knows me too well. I'm kind of mad. Just going to let everybody read it for a minute. Everyone should know by now, I'm not telling you what venues we're going to until I'm good and well ready, Jesse. What major championship event are you most excited for next year, and can you only share the dates? Assuming you don't want to share venues yet. Yeah, I can share some dates. We can do some dates. That sounds like a good compromise, don't you think, Phil?
Sure.
So the event I'm most excited for, we've only announced 4. So I'll recap that and I'll give you my most excited for the 4. Not necessarily the whole season, because the whole season's got some really good ones, and I'm excited for the rest of them. I'm excited for all the ones we've announced too, but absolutely excited. So we've got November 4th and 5th, the Mississippi Open at Dancing Rabbit. I'm pretty excited for that one because I've not been to Dancing Rabbit. I've heard it's like the Augusta you can play, which that's a little bit pretentious to say that. So I'm pretty excited to see, because obviously no one's laughed them out of the golf industry for saying that it's like Augusta National. So I'm sure that place is mint. Really excited about being there, all kidding aside. December 2nd and 3rd is the Myrtle Beach Holiday Classic. That's one of my favorites every year. Caledonia and True Blue, while the same designer, are 2 of my favorite golf courses that are nothing like the other one. That's going to be a fantastic weekend. Honestly, if you you just need to go to Myrtle Beach the first weekend of December. Perfect weather, cheap hotels, golf courses are in the best shape of the year. January 17th and 18th, we return to the Disney season kickoff at Disney's Palm. Excited to play that golf course again. That golf course was really sneaky good. It's always kind of been underrated because it's called Magnolia's little brother, because Magnolia is the Mickey Mouse bunker. But I'll be honest, the Palm golf course, probably the best golf course on property there. It was really good, really fun to play. But the one I'm absolutely excited about that, I've got on my calendar, is January 20th and 21st, Mystic Dunes Classic at Mystic Dunes. Maybe the golf course you haven't heard of in Orlando. It's a Gary Koch design. Our room block's on property at Mystic Dunes, so we're, literally staying on the fairways, which will be fun. But I grew up playing that golf course, love the layout, and they've completely renovated the entire property. So brand new greens, brand new fairways, brand new bunkers, brand new rough. Every blade of grass on that property is going to be completely new. It opens next month. Cannot wait to be back there. One of my favorite layouts of golf courses to play. That's the sleeper. I'm telling you, a lot of times it takes a year or 2 for people to believe me when I give them the sleeper, but that's the sleeper. You want to be there. As far as dates, we can rip some of those off. February 17th and 18th, whatever that Saturday, Sunday is. It could be 18th and 19th. I'm not sure. You put me on the spot.
17, 18.
March 2nd and 3rd. April 27th and 28th, May 4th and 5th. I'm doing this from memory, so don't judge me. May 25th through 27th, 54-hole major for Memorial Day. June 8th and 9th, June 15th and 16th, July 6th and 7th. I should call it Matt's birthday bash because it's on my birthday, but July 28th and 29th. That'll be a good one. That's a new one. I'm pretty excited about that. And 8/17 and 8/18. And if anybody wants to know, the North American Championship is going to be September 20th through 22nd of next year. So there you go. That's all I got. And I'm absolutely excited about all of them because they're all fantastic, Jesse. We don't book crappy golf courses for national majors. Or really any tournament, to be honest. The tournaments on the APT are all really good, dude. I'm just saying. So we got any questions?
I see the one from Alan. We'll have that event on Thursday. We'll have that posted tomorrow, right?
Yes, we'll have it posted tomorrow. That is my first task of the day. It'll be on the 2023 National Major schedule. And you'll probably get an email about it too. So, any other questions?
Nope. I will say real quick to answer Noah's question. No, I did not go to South Mac.
I was just waiting for him to tell some good story about this dude that went to South Mac. I was like, that could be really interesting. So I was hoping that was going to come back up, but
it's just another Helms, probably.
About 45 minutes away from there, but it wasn't South Mac.
all I know is I'm sure he was up to no good.
Listen,
Myrtle Beach, Myrtle Beach, Myrtle Beach.
Oh.
There we go. If you want to hang out, I love how Phil's laughing. Chris doesn't know what we're talking about. We will show you. We will show you. But anyway,
Chris,
not on the live.
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah.
Also, you know, Myrtle Beach, you get in, you want to hang out, get the lay of the land, figure it out. Here's the free tip of the night: Crooked Hammock Brewery, Barefoot Landing. That's my spot. So, anyways, margaritas, spicy margaritas, baby. But anyways, we'll be back next Thursday. We'll have to figure out what time because I'll be in Seattle. So, but we'll go live from somewhere. That sounds like fun. So, anyways, you guys take care. Sign up for the Labor Day Classic in Myrtle Beach. We'll have the Thursday event posted tomorrow, and we'll see y'all next week.